We are born into this world which is called the realm of desire, where greed exists within every human being as part of our nature. However, we are taught to learn how to control and subdue that greed. But there are those who, tempted by material wealth, are willing to trade everything, morality, conscience, and even the lives of others, just to achieve short-term gains. And today, the case I want to share with you is a haunting example of this dark side of human nature. On October 13, 2005, the Thai consulate in Hong Kong received an emergency call from a man. He reported that he and his girlfriend had come to Hong Kong for a vacation, but she had mysteriously gone missing. The last time he saw her was around 2 p.m. on October 12th. His girlfriend's name was Zi Liping, 40 years old, of Thai Chinese descent, and the daughter of Thailand's jewelry king. After her father passed away, Zi Liping took over the family business and expanded it throughout Southeast Asia. This trip to Hong Kong had two main purposes: to attend the opening ceremony of Disneyland and to open a new jewelry store. She and her boyfriend arrived in Hong Kong on October 10th. On October 11th, she visited the tax building to learn about the procedures for opening the store and to help her boyfriend gather information on film production. Around 2 p.m. on October 12th, she told her boyfriend that she was going shopping at a mall and then would head to the tax building. That evening, when her boyfriend couldn't contact her and she didn't return, he became worried. The next morning, on October 13th, he went to the Thai consulate in Hong Kong for help and reported the case to the police. Upon receiving the information, the investigation team quickly got involved. Through an initial investigation, they confirmed that Zi Liping had taken her passport with her when she left the hotel. This led them to promptly check immigration records, but there was no indication that she had left Hong Kong. In addition, the police immediately began a search and called on the public to provide clues. However, after more than 10 days of searching, there was no trace of Zi Liping. Just when it seemed that the case had reached a dead end on October 24, 2005, the police suddenly contacted Zi Liping's boyfriend and informed him that they had found a woman's body in an air conditioning room at the tax building. They suspected it was Zi Liping. Since the body had begun to decompose, the police asked him to come and identify her. The final result confirmed it was indeed her. That morning, when maintenance workers went to check the air conditioning system on the 33rd floor, they were horrified to discover her body lying above the air conditioning unit. Her hands were tied behind her back with black plastic cable ties. At the time, Zi Liping was wearing a white round-neck t-shirt, long pants, and black high heels. There was blood on her hair, and her body showed multiple injuries. Additionally, Zi Liping's handbag, containing 2 mobile phones, 2 credit cards, and cash, was missing. However, valuable items like her pearl earrings, gold earrings, and the Rolex watch on her wrist were still intact. What was puzzling was how Zi Liping's body ended up placed on the air conditioning unit, which was 3 meters high, while she weighed 44 kilo. Moving her body up there without equipment would have been difficult, so it was highly likely the perpetrator had an accomplice. Considering the scene of the crime, the building had 48 floors, and the air conditioning room was located near elevator number 13, which both staff and visitors could access. However, this elevator did not have surveillance cameras, unlike the other areas of the building. Moreover, only a few people had keys to access the air conditioning room, mostly maintenance staff. At the scene, the perpetrator may have carefully erased all traces using air conditioning cleaning solution. The police had to use ultraviolet light to find any remaining blood stains. Finally, they discovered blood traces leading from the elevator to the air conditioning room on the 33rd floor. Bloodstains were also found on the door lock of the air conditioning room and the keypad lock of the Environmental Protection Bureau's office. This led the police to suspect that the air conditioning room was not the murder scene. Instead, C. Lipping might have been killed elsewhere, and her body was brought there via the elevator. The police then quickly reviewed all security footage from the building and gathered additional images from subway stations during the period C. Lipping went missing, but nothing suspicious was found. Eventually, after reviewing all the clues, the police concluded that the perpetrator must have been someone working in the building. The person not only had access to the air conditioning room, but was also very familiar with the building's layout. As a result, the police focused their investigation on the maintenance workers and staff working on the 33rd floor of the Environmental Protection Bureau. During the investigation, they received a crucial lead. In the early hours of October 14th, 2 days after C. Lipping disappeared, someone had tried to withdraw over $20,500 from her credit card at an ATM in the Daibu area. However, after entering the wrong PIN 3 times, the card was swallowed by the machine. The police checked the ATM security footage, but the image was not clear enough to identify the suspect, leaving the investigation stalled again. As time passed, 2, then 3 years went by, but the police still couldn't find the culprit in C. Lipping's case. Although the case initially attracted significant media and public attention in Hong Kong, it gradually faded into obscurity. It wasn't until another kidnapping case occurred that this mystery once again captured public interest. On May 19, 2008, the police received a report from a woman. She stated that on May 15, 2008, her daughter Qiu Xiao Yan, 21 years old, an airport employee, had gone missing after her night shift. Qiu Xiao Yan, being a well-behaved girl, always informed her family before going out, but this time no one could contact her. Thinking that she might be with her boyfriend, Xu Zhen, her father immediately called him. However, the family's concern grew when Xu Zhen also couldn't reach Qiu Xiaoyan. He revealed that around 5 SARS a.m., Qiu Xiaoyan had texted him, saying she needed to leave for a few days and asked him to call her workplace to request time off. When Xu Zhen tried to call her back to ask for more details, she didn't answer. The company where she worked also confirmed that she had taken leave without providing a specific reason. Sensing something was wrong, the family and Xu Zhen immediately searched around the area near her home and the places she often visited, but they found no suspicious signs. Later, Qiu Xiaoyan's father received an unexpected text message from her, in which she reassured him not to worry, and promised to return in 3 to 7 days, accompanied by a request for tens of thousands of dollars. Fearing that his daughter might be in financial trouble or perhaps contemplating something desperate, he transferred the money without hesitation. However, on May 17th, 2 days after she disappeared, the family received another message from Qiu Xiaoyan asking for more money. Suspecting something was amiss, they checked her bank account. The results shocked them. Over $500 USD had been withdrawn in the 2 days following her disappearance, leaving only $2,500 USD remaining. By May 19th, when they checked again, they discovered that the remaining amount in the account had also been entirely withdrawn. Worried that their daughter might be in danger, the family decided to inform the police. Upon receiving the report, the police quickly got involved and suspected that Chu Xiaoyan had been kidnapped on her way home in the early hours of May 15th. The road was deserted, providing an opportunity for a criminal to act. The investigation team immediately began gathering information from nearby residents. Meanwhile, after a few days without receiving the ransom from the family, the kidnapper seemed to realize the situation had been exposed. He switched tactics, sending a threatening message to Shuzhen, demanding a ransom of $12,800 USD and warning that if the family did anything to oppose him, he would not hesitate to kill Chu Xiaoyan. Receiving the threatening message, Shuzhen was shocked but tried to stay calm, immediately contacting the police. Authorities quickly instructed him to maintain communication with the kidnapper and comply with their demands to ensure Chu Xiaoyan's safety. Additionally, the police cleverly suggested that Shuzhen request proof of Chu Xiaoyan's condition, such as a photo or voice recording. However, the kidnapper, being cunning, outright refused the request, making the situation even more tense. During the investigation to narrow down the suspects, the police conducted a thorough investigation of Chu Xiaoyan's relationships. Through this process, they found that her ex-boyfriend Chu Yongqiang was a suspicious figure. After their breakup, Chu Yongqiang had fallen into a deep depression and required psychological treatment. This led the police to believe that he could be the mastermind behind the kidnapping, and they decided to arrest Chu Yongqiang for questioning. At the station, Chu Yongqiang continuously denied any involvement in Chu Xiaoyan's kidnapping, insisting that he was completely innocent. Just when the police thought they had the real mastermind of the case in their hands, the situation took an unexpected turn. Shuzhen, Chu Xiaoyan's current boyfriend, continued to receive threatening messages from the kidnapper. This forced the police to reconsider their entire investigation approach. Finally, with no other options, the police decided to focus all their resources on a plan to exchange the ransom as requested by the kidnappers. The investigation team instructed the family to prepare $12,800 USD, placed in a white bag. The kidnapper then contacted them again to arrange the exchange, which was to take place on the evening of May 22nd in the Wangjiao area. The kidnapper instructed Shuzhen to board bus number 72 and place the money at a designated spot. Upon receiving this information, the police immediately deployed surveillance teams to closely monitor the identified area. After a long wait, a man finally appeared on the bus and retrieved the ransom bag. However, the police decided not to act immediately, fearing that any rash moves might endanger Chu Xiaoyan's life if the kidnapper had accomplices. The police secretly followed the kidnapper from the bus to Daibu, where he got off at Taihei Kun and entered an apartment. Inside the apartment, the police found 4 people. Without hesitation, they surrounded and arrested them all. During the apartment search, the police found Chu Xiaoyan's phone, but she was not present at the scene. All 4 people were taken to the station for questioning. At this point, the police began using more aggressive tactics to extract information. After the interrogation, only the man who had collected the ransom was linked to the case, while the other 3 denied any involvement. He also claimed that they were merely family members living together and knew nothing about the kidnapping. To prove their innocence, he confessed his involvement in the disappearance and revealed the entire story. The kidnapper's name was Sokam Tong, a 24-year-old air conditioning repairman living with his family in the Daibu, Taihei-kun area. In his confession, he claimed that he had no prior acquaintance with Chu Xiaoyan. In the early hours of May 15th, So Kam Tong had been lurking around the Taihei Kun shopping center, waiting for an opportunity to target women walking alone at night. When he saw Chu Xiaoyan, who looked affluent with her designer handbag, he decided to follow her. He attacked her from behind as she walked along the riverbank, threatening her with a knife and dragging her under a nearby bridge. So Kam Tong forced Chu Xiaoyan to hand over her belongings, including her phone, wallet, and ATM cards, and made her provide the pins. Believing that he would release her after obtaining the pins, she complied. However, as soon as he received the information, he strangled her to death. Afterward, So Kam Tong went to an ATM and withdrew over $2,500 USD. He returned home, fetched some air conditioning cleaning solution, and went back to the scene to erase any traces on Chu Xiaoyan's hands and neck before hiding her body under the canal. In the following days, he withdrew a total of over $500 USD from Chu Xiaoyan's account. Previously, he had borrowed over $900 USD from a finance company to fund a trip to Taiwan, and afterward, he planned the robbery to pay off his debt. However, after obtaining the money, So Kam Tong squandered it on a digital camera and glasses. When he ran out of money, So Kam Tong realized that he still had a significant debt left unpaid. Instead of stopping, greed drove him to exploit the situation further by blackmailing the victim's family for more money to settle his debts. At this point, the police concluded that Chu Xiaoyan's ex-boyfriend, Chu Yongqiang, was not involved in the case. However, the days Chu Yongqiang spent in custody severely impacted his mental health. He even attempted suicide afterward, but was fortunately saved. The case of Chu Xiaoyan was closed, but during the investigation, the police uncovered some suspiciously overlapping clues. It appeared that So Kam Tong was also linked to another murder in 2005, that of Xie Li Ping, the victim I mentioned earlier in the video. The first clue, Xie Li Ping's credit card, had been used in an attempted withdrawal at an ATM in Daibu. However, the card was swallowed by the machine after multiple incorrect PIN entries. At that time, the police had recorded So Kam Tong's personal details because he lived in Daibu and worked as an air conditioning technician at the tax building, the crime scene. The second clue, both victims had been cleaned with air conditioning cleaning solution, leading the police to suspect that So Kam Tong was connected to both cases. Faced with these accusations, So Kam Tong completely denied any involvement in the 2005 murder. However, the police did not give up and continued their investigation, eventually uncovering So Kam Tong's accomplice in the case, Guo Jihui. Initially, Guo denied all guilt, but after intense interrogation pressure, he was forced to admit the truth. Guo revealed that on October 12, 2005, So Kam Tong had called him to the tax building for help. When Guo arrived, he found Xie Li Ping's body in the air conditioning room. So Kam Tong explained that he had attacked her, believing she was wealthy, then robbed her and took her credit cards before killing her. What was most abhorrent was that the two men had taken turns sexually assaulting the victim's corpse. After satisfying their vile urges, they used the air conditioning cleaning solution to clean the body and then hid it atop the air conditioning unit, splitting the stolen money between them. Although Guo gave a full confession, the police still lacked direct evidence to convict So Kam Tong. As a result, they made a deal with Guo. If he could provide proof of So Kam Tong's crimes, he would be considered a witness and not face prosecution. After many efforts, So Kam Tong was convicted of murder in both cases and sentenced to life imprisonment. The conclusion of this case is not merely the sentencing of So Kam Tong, but also a profound wake-up call about the serious shortcomings in the Hong Kong police investigation system. The first murder in 2005 could have been thoroughly resolved if the police had not made critical mistakes during the investigation. After narrowing down the suspect to So Kam Tong, the police had initial leads, but they lacked determination and thoroughness in monitoring and gathering further evidence. Instead of digging deeper into the investigation to trace So Kam Tong's suspicious actions and connections, they became negligent, allowing the case to fall into a deadlock. This irresponsibility let a dangerous killer slip through the cracks, leading to the unjust death of Chu Xiaoyan. Had the police acted decisively and thoroughly during the first investigation, a terrible crime could have been prevented. This reality exposes the weakness in the law enforcement system, where even small mistakes can lead to irreversible consequences, resulting in lost lives and plunging families into tragedy. Furthermore, the case serves as a special warning to all women about their personal safety. Although we live in a society with laws to protect us, crimes can still happen anywhere, especially in unsafe conditions. Walking alone at night on deserted streets always poses a potential risk that we cannot foresee. All of us, especially women, need to be aware of our safety, minimize movement in risky situations, and always stay alert to protect ourselves from unnecessary danger.